Folk Alliance International. Those three words describe an organization unlike any other, a global non-profit for folk music in all its forms, foibles, traditions, and revolutions. But it was another three words that made it possible. Today, FAI represents thousands of folk artists, venues, music professionals, and record labels in dozens of countries, is a powerful champion for the community it serves, a vital resource for the knowledge and networking necessary in today's folk world, whether big city songwriter or old-time fiddler, grand concert series, or corner coffee house. FAI's centerpiece is a vibrant annual conference to which thousands flock to hear musicians showcase their art, to learn from one another, and simply bask in their common cause. Asked why this never happened before, even in folk's 1960s heyday, songwriting legend Tom Paxton said, "There's an old joke that organizing folkies is like herding cats. Well, if anybody's going to herd these cats, it's us cats. It took this long to figure that out because we are cats." After the 60s revival, folk rebuilt itself as a permanent substream form, powered by the passions of those who love it, immune to the bullying whims of commercial music. There was less a folk community than countless little communities, often isolated, struggling to preserve their own vision of folk. How could such a diverse community of communities be represented as one? That's when those three other words cast their spell, 30 years ago. It began as a simpler journey. Activists Elaine and Clark Weissman wanted to create a California traditional music society and spent years talking to other folk organizations, sensing a genuine need for that community of communities. The first gathering of what would become Folk Alliance was in January 1989 in Malibu. 130 artists, music professionals, and activists debated every reason this could never work. How could one organization equally represent professionals and volunteers, organizations and individuals, house concerts and record labels? Days of debate and doubt distilled into three simple words: all groups valued. From there, the FAI story became a steady, widening arc of expansion and inclusion, those three words informing every conflict, crisis, and governing decision. All groups valued. For example, the 1990 meeting of what was initially called the North American Folk Music and Dance Alliance was attended by 200 in Philadelphia and simply called an outing. Presenting a wide range of live music was a top priority, as was sharing knowledge. So the outing became an annual conference, which in 2017 drew 2,700 people representing 27 countries, over 400 presenters, 3,200 showcase concerts, 79 exhibitors, and 71 panels discussing folks' history, business, goals, and values. I'm going back and spend some time where I can have fun when I ain't got a dime, I'm southbound. Just as organically, the national conference inspired regional chapters, producing their own conferences, connecting once isolated venues to national and local performers, and to each other. To me, that's the most important thing about FAI, said activist Sonny Oakes. People are no longer names on a page, they're faces, people you've had dinner with, people you really know. Folk Alliance became a strong voice for folk, championing artist-friendly visa requirements, venue-friendly postage rates, group health care, and fair treatment from performance rights organizations, PROs, that collect songwriting royalties from live venues. In 2009, Folk Alliance finalized a groundbreaking PRO agreement for house concerts. Because we were negotiating as Folk Alliance, said past President Renee Bodie, we were able to deal directly with heads of licensing, which no individual could do. The whole point of Folk Alliance is to create the kind of coalition that can make things easier for the people who want to bring more music into the world. All groups valued. FAI created essential booklets on visas, contracts, airline regulations for music instruments, copyright law and royalties, along with a vibrant web presence for all things folk. There's also been a widening arc of outreach, from inviting musicians of other countries to partnering with powerful organizations like the Smithsonian, American Folklife Center, and Network of Cultural Centers of Color. FAI provides performers to senior centers, hospitals, schools, and veterans' homes, and created the annual Kansas City Folk Festival. FAI presents annual Lifetime Achievement Awards honoring folks' cherished elders: Pete Seeger, Leadbelly, Lydia Mendoza, Bill Monroe. True to form, it also launched a Spirit of Folk Awards honoring the tireless activists who labor away from the spotlight. Progression of Directors traces another purposeful arc, beginning with Art Menius, hired as office manager, bringing precious expertise in how arts organizations are built. The first director was Phyllis Barney, experienced in large bureaucracies, able to guide FAI's rapid expansion, empower its lobbying voice, and partner with other organizations. With Paxton's joke in mind, it might have sounded useful that she spent 17 years with the Bureau of Fish and Wildlife. South by Southwest co-founder Lewis Myers succeeded Barney, enhancing FAI's connection to commercial and social music, founding a music camp at the conference. It all comes back to the music and the people, he said. The more people who discover the music or learn to play a folk instrument, the stronger the community will be for all of us. Canadian songwriter, arts administrator, and current director Angus Finnan brought a global perspective as the organization expanded to embody its full name, Folk Alliance International, focusing on diversity and inclusion, launching an artist-in-residence program, an overseas micro-conference called The Exchange, and galvanizing the International Folk Music Awards. Folk is an ethos, a community, a way, Finnan wrote, reverence for tradition, celebration and expression of the human condition. It is inclusion, curiosity, and compassion. Phyllis Barney said, Folk Alliance isn't seeking to complete itself, and that's unique. It's always that we want to find the groups who aren't here and get them here. Past board president Michelle Conceição of Market Monkeys said, I don't want things too harmonious because that's not us. If everything's completely harmonious, somebody's probably not being represented. That's what families are like. All groups valued. Folk Alliance International.